Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Piper Jasmine. I am a third-year medical student. In today's video, you guys know that I just want to give you guys the tea. Just want to prepare you guys for what I wasn't prepared for. I want you guys to be better than me, to have better experiences than me. I really hope you guys kind of look at my channel as like a big sister kind of advice. And so I've been through a lot these past 2 years in medical school. You guys know that it's been a journey. I'm sure you have seen me in like kind of sad in videos and all of that. So today, because I know a lot of you guys have either started applying to med school, you're in the middle of your application cycle, or you just started med school, went back to med school, or you might even be someone who's pre-med and just interested in med school. So if you fall into any of those categories, this video is for you because today I'm going to be talking to you guys how I stay motivated when I want to quit medical school. Reality is there are so many days, so many times where I have debated about quitting med school. I feel like this definitely isn't a topic talked about enough because I feel like I don't know the reason for this, but I feel like when it comes to medicine, the field itself isn't really known for sharing the negatives about the field, or sharing like the realistic part of medicine, because, you know, truth be told, you are sacrificing so much for this field. And I think because of that, there's this display that medicine is all positive, rainbows, you're helping people, the studying is cool. And like reality, there's so many days where you might feel like, why did I choose this field? I don't know if I can keep on going. Like, are there actually alternatives that I can explore? Even though I already committed to this, like there are just times you're gonna have those thoughts and your feelings, and that's just keeping it 110% real with you guys. There have been so many days these past 2 years where I have wanted to quit medical school, where I have even gotten so far to like looking at other degree programs to go into. And I just kind of want to share with you guys how I stay grounded and how I kind of reel myself back into aligning myself with my initial goals of why I pursued medicine. And hopefully like these tips and tricks can help you guys too, if you ever find yourself in a moment of doubt and like in a moment of, I really can't do this, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, because trust me, you're not alone. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of struggle in medical school. If you have been watching my channel since med school, you've definitely seen the time periods where I've been struggling. I would probably say my second year was like your girl's just down bad. Second year, in medical school, you're going to encounter a lot of struggle. It's honestly just inevitable. And I'm slowly starting to learn that it's not something to be afraid of, something to rather embrace, because nobody knows how to be, a beast at medical school when you've never done it before. It's a whole new world, a whole new concept, whole new people, whole new learning. I mean, there's going to be times where you struggle in med school, and it is just what it is. You have to learn how to push through it. But sometimes within that struggle, your motivation can really just dispacitate. Is that the word? Your motivation can really just disappear. I would say for my first year is like when I seriously really thought about quitting medical school, and I just had a really, really tough adjustment my first year of med school, from the digestion of all the material that you're given to the long hours of studying. It was a lot of adjustment. And I remember at that time, I was literally Googling like master programs to apply to in the spring of my first year, different job avenues, like because I had a background in public health. And then my second year, my spring semester, was really, really rough. I wasn't doing well in a class, and it got to a point where like remediation was up in the air. Having to kind of repeat my second year was up in the air. And that's definitely when I lost a lot of motivation, because at least for me in med school, it's so much sacrifice. And you have the question of, like, do you really want to redo this again? That's kind of where I at least kind of shut down motivation wise, because you already sacrificed so much to actually have to, repeat a whole year, take out another set of loans for another year feeling like that, another year of that. I really lost motivation during that time, and I really, really contemplated withdrawing from school. And I remember late at night, one night, because, I'm a believer of faith. I pray a lot. And so I definitely remember when I was going through that hardship, I remember, talking to God and, just really expressing to him, if I get through this hard phase, if I get through this hard part, I'm not going to speak that into existence anymore. I'm not going to talk about dropping out anymore. I'm not going to have that be an option for me anymore. I'm just going to have to battle through everything if I'm able to get through this part. So those are just kind of like my own personal experiences of how I've lost motivation while in med school, because like I said, reality is you might experience hardship, you might experience setback, all to different degrees, different extents, but the hurt all feels the same. The hurt still feels like your chest when you realize that you've put in so much work, so much work into this field, and then all of a sudden you start contemplating your life's choices, contemplating your pathway, in this sense, contemplating God's plan for you, and I think that's when it becomes such a mental challenge, because then you start contemplating with God, and you should never, do that. You should never question God's path for you and why he placed you here today. But it's such a mind struggle to go through, and I just feel like it's not talked about enough in medicine, and that's why, I'm sharing with you guys today my tools and stuff on how I stayed motivated throughout those periods of sadness, periods of depression, periods of just motivation, demotivation, whatever the opposite term of motivation is. But those are like I said, those are my realistic examples how I lost motivation. And now we need to discuss how I was able to find that motivation back. Sometimes with medical school, I have such a hate-love relationship, because it has doubtfully been one of the hardest things that I've done in my life. But it has also taught me so much about myself, and it also pushes you to learn more about yourself as well. Because I am now able to because I've gone through these experiences of disappointment and hardship and failure in medical school, I have consciously tried to become more aware of my feelings and my thought patterns and my thought habits as well while I am in school, because that can definitely impact and influence your feelings. So for example, I have started to really become more in tune with myself when I recognize that, in order to recognize when I'm becoming burnt out or exhausted. My uncle, he's a cardiologist, so definitely having people in my family to talk about this throughout my journey has helped me. But I'll never forget my first year of med school when I think I kind of remember what happened my first year. I think I was in neuro. It was the neuro block, and it was so hard. I was failing every single exam, and I was really worried that I was going to have to remediate in the summer before I made it to my second year. And I'll never forget the advice that he told me, which is make sure that you're studying when you actually, feel mentally ready to dive into that material and to actually learn. Don't just study to study. Don't ever do something to just do something. Always be intentional when you're going to study. And so because of that, that has just always stayed in my brain, and I am now really able to assess when I'm not in the mood to study. And if I'm not in the mood to study because I'm feeling burnt out, I'm not going to, because pushing myself too far, which is what I did my first year, and of my second year, pushing yourself too far will burn you out. At the end of the day, medical school is a marathon, not a sprint. And I've had to recognizing when I'm like starting to feel really overwhelmed and exhausted and burnt out, I'm able to kind of prevent myself spiraling, because like I said, med school, it's caused me to really have like this deep sense of discovery and like really trying to understand myself. So A, not only the best doctor for my patients, but B, so I'm the best version of myself every day that I show up. So it's kind of important for me, as I've realized, to recognize when I start seeing those signs of me burnt out, so I don't spiral into that like depression and sadness and like of I hate my life, I hate medicine, I don't want to do this. And so like some of my signs and symptoms of when I notice that I start spiraling and like when I'm just pushing myself too much and when I am just burnt out, this might be burnout, and then this will be exhaustion mixed with depression, mixed with I can't do this anymore, because you already pushed yourself so much right here. You push yourself so much further, like your brain is just gonna break. And I think that's one of like the best descriptions how I could describe myself and like my mood and like my perspective this past spring was just very bleak. Like my spirit was just broken, my brain was broken, my heart was broken, like everything, because I just kept pushing myself. I kept like just trying to provide, trying to give without pouring stuff into me, without pouring care and love into myself first. So I never would have, I don't know how to explain it, but I just ended up spiraling because I wasn't listening to myself. And like some of my signs and symptoms that I have throughout my first 2 years is I binge eat. I'll order a whole bunch of food. I may go like the day without eating, and then towards the end of the day I'll just like dash cookies, Mexican food, and I'll just eat it all in one sitting. I won't really sleep. Like I'll sleep, but I'll get into really bad sleep and study patterns, such as maybe like studying till like midnight, waking up at 6, studying all day, studying till midnight, waking up till 6, which isn't good. I will stop going to the gym. I've noticed when I start to really get burnt out and kind of like just really mentally and physically exhausted, I stop working out. I stop doing even my Pilates classes and hot yoga sculpt. Once I notice that I haven't really done anything in 2 weeks, that's a sign for me to kind of be like, okay, kind of losing myself. I'm losing a little bit of, insight of myself. I need to reel it back in and kind of refocus a little bit. What's another sign? I'll get really irritable. I have anxiety, which I'm on Lexapro too, and I can make a whole separate video about like anxiety, depression, med school, and antidepressants. But I also have noticed like another sign and symptom of when I'm burnt out or when I start spiraling, I end up not taking my medication as I'm supposed to, and that's because I've developed such bad habits. When I become so burnt out, when I start spiraling, like I kind of stop showering every night, and that might be a little TMI, but keeping it real with you guys, because I'll study till midnight, wake up at 6, like I'll fall into a really bad and unhealthy routine, to the point where I would used to fall asleep on my couch, wake up at like 2 a.m. and just get in the bed. But because of those unhealthy sleep patterns and unhealthy like study patterns, I wasn't really, keeping up with my hygiene and my medications. So that is something that I noticed too, that when I'm feeling burnt out, when I'm not taking care of myself, when I start kind of like spiraling, all of those bad habits come back. And my place, another telltale sign for me, when my place gets really, really messy. Because I think it starts to become a reflection of my anxiety, and that's just how I know I need to take a step back and kind of just regroup and figure out what's wrong. And so when that happens, once all of that happens and I'm just down bad and just really, really sick of medicine, like I don't want to do this anymore, because when you start living in a pattern like that and like a lifestyle like that, you're kind of like just looking at yourself in the mirror like, I don't know who this person is. I never acted like this before I was in medical school. I feel like I'm living in filth. I feel dirty. Like I don't feel like me. And it starts to create this almost like hatred sort of feeling. Like I hate who I'm becoming, and I hate who I'm becoming because I've kind of put myself in this position. So sometimes I personally struggle with, a little bit, I guess, of a guilty conscience, because it's like I willingly put myself in this position and it is bringing out the worst version of myself. I think the first step in like recognizing that and wanting to become better and wanting to find that balance in medicine and wanting to kind of fix that inner dialogue of that negativity is just recognizing it, right? I think like the first step for anything is recognizing that you have a problem. And so recognizing that is like really what helped me. And my mom really encouraged me to go to therapy and to really talk about that with someone. And I will say therapy is probably one of the biggest things that has like changed my like life and has changed really why I'm like still in medicine and how I've been able to shift some of my mindset and my thoughts, definitely because of therapy. Being able to talk to someone about everything with a non-objective like perspective or opinion, because obviously like my mom's gonna be biased, like I'm her daughter, so she's gonna think everyone is cruel and like I don't deserve this and whatever. Therapy has helped a ton when it comes to finding that motivation again. It comes to just like taking a minute, taking a step back and actually kind of naming what I'm feeling. And I think that's been like one of the biggest things that has changed me for the better, is making sure I'm really able to kind of put a name to what I am feeling instead of just feeling it. Especially when it comes to like medicine. Like I don't necessarily want to quit because, you know, obviously put in so much work for so long, but what exactly am I feeling right now that is making me want to quit? So having those discussions with someone and having different perspectives on how to handle a situation and getting tools on how to like better equip myself emotionally when, you know, I get down has really helped me. So I would so encourage therapy if like anyone is watching this and definitely resonates with this. That really helps for remembering like why and like choosing not to quit and choosing medicine. As much as I want to say like remembering why you're here, I feel like that's so cliche. Honestly, like that doesn't work. I can try to remember all the times that I've applied and like I've wanted to be a doctor for so long, like since I was a little girl. Like when I talk to my mom when I'm feeling down, she'll say that you did this for so long. I'll be like, I don't care, I don't want it anymore. Like that's before I knew all of this. Sometimes that genuinely doesn't work, and people will say you have to like really dig inside and, you know, to just remember why you're here. And I wish it was that easy, because like realistically you could be somewhere else. Just gonna keep it 100 with you guys. You could be somewhere else, like minus the loans and stuff. You could literally be somewhere else. There are plenty of other jobs out here. You could do something else. So I honestly think it's more so of a decision rather than finding motivation, because at the end of the day we all have decisions, right? So that kind of helps me. I mentioned briefly that faith also helps me, like praying nightly really helped me and stuff. I lose motivation. And what I've had the pleasure of, you know, being able to experience my second year is just how amazing and great my classmates are. Because when I was really down and really going through a dark time my second year, my friends were there for me so much. And honestly, the only people who kind of know what you're going through in med school are other medical students. As much as your outside friends can say, I'll be there for you, like, I'm so sorry, they don't get it. And like, with all due respect, they don't get it. So actually opening up to people at my school with what I was going through, and like, my face is dry, so it's getting itchy. Opening up with my friends at school about what I was going through and what I was feeling definitely helped me a lot, because A, I not only found out that some people were feeling, you know, similar feelings or were going through similar stuff. B, you just kind of feel a little bit more understood, because they simply know what you're going through. They know the rigor of medical school. Like, we're all in the same classes, taking the same exams, and honestly, when you have those conversations, you just kind of realize you're not alone. People might be in the very same position as you. Some people may be in a worse position compared to you. Some people may be in a position where they're able to offer you advice, give you resources. So opening up with other people and really being transparent about my problems and struggle has also really helped me find the motivation, especially with faculty and staff members, which I was really surprised about. But my second year was just like so bad. I definitely, you know, it got to a point where I had to reach out to some faculty members for support, and just feeling their support and their faith in me, that really motivated me because it's kind of like, wow, like this doctor, this professor, he has so much faith in me. He's advocating so much for me because he actually believes in me. And sometimes that's all you kind of need in medical school, because you kind of get to a point where you feel like everything is not enough. Like, that's that imposter syndrome. You're putting in all this work, all this studying, and sometimes it feels like it's not enough. You know, you'll study for days and hours, but get like a 79 on your exam. And a 79 is passing, it's a pass, but like, you know, it just doesn't feel enough. And like, first 2 years, at least for me personally, it just felt like I was never enough. So when I was able to reach out to faculty and, you know, share what I was going through, and having someone, not even someone, having people have faith in me, that motivated me again. Because it's like, wow, you guys really think I'm like good enough to still be here. You guys really think that I'm good enough to be in medicine, to not give up on this. Like, you guys are not giving up on me. So it gets to a point where you're, you know, talking to so many people, you know, being open and vulnerable, and you start to see that many people are not giving up on you, kind of makes you question, why am I giving up on me? So that's how I was kind of able to turn my motivation back around and like find motivation again, because you know, I've been able and blessed to surround myself by so many people who love me and have faith in me. And sometimes that's all you need. Keep yourself going. Because you're like, okay, these people believe in me. These people believe in me. Like, I just have to keep believing that, and maybe it'll click in my head that I can believe in me. That was kind of like a mouthful. So yeah, I mean, with that, like, that really helped me kind of stay motivated. And I also try to remember that like small wins matter. Me personally, I kind of try to celebrate little things if I can. Like if I got an 80 on an exam, if I pass an exam, we're gonna celebrate. Even if that was like a 74 or 75, a pass is a pass in medical school. So I feel like you should make it a habit to celebrate everything that is good, because if you get into the habit of like sulking or being sad about everything that goes wrong, you'll never appreciate about everything that goes well. So I try to make it a habit for me to kind of appreciate the little things. Like, for example, even for orientation, which, you know, I just did my vlog and stuff, but I like to get a new outfit for orientation. I think it's a celebration. I made it to my 3rd year, past 2nd year. Do I want to go to an 8-hour orientation? Not really, but it's something to celebrate, and it's something to kind of keep me motivated, because when you add like a positive twist to something, you're kind of like manipulating yourself into being a little delusional, making yourself kind of think, okay, maybe this isn't so bad after all. So just to wrap this up, because I didn't want to make this video too long or anything, but honestly, quitting in medical is a lot easier than staying in med school. And like I told you guys in the beginning of this video, nothing that is good in life comes easy. And this is definitely a route that a lot of sacrifice, and not even in terms of family and friends, in terms of like mental health, sanity, and everything. But you know, I know it's going to be rewarding at the end of the day. I think resilience is a key part in becoming a physician. And I also think it's really important to remember that everyone is on their own journey. And with that, it's very important to not compare yourself to others, not to compare your journey to others, how quickly they're doing it, how long they're taking, what they're doing, how they're doing it. We're all on our own unique journey, our own unique timeline. I think med school really teaches you that you don't have to be perfect, and that you just have to keep going. And more importantly, I think when you kind of have this realization, you're in med school or in your journey and becoming a physician, it kind of eases the anxiety of it a little bit, because medicine is always going to be hard, you know, whether you're in the textbook or whether you're in the hospital and you're dealing with a patient crashing, or, you know, you're dealing with an exam and there's going to be so many exams. You just really have to learn yourself, learn how to cope, like find really good coping mechanisms, and really lean on your community. So that's kind of how I've tried to stay motivated. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was gonna keep it 100. It's hard, but you just have to take one day at a time, okay? And my camera is sick of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe. As always, I will see you next time.